Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about my thoughts on the ridiculous nature of Kim Kardashian back in 2022 telling people, or better yet, telling women to get off their butts and go find a job because nobody wants to work anymore when she only became famous because of a sex tape and has never really had to struggle and work to find a job. And now in 2025, she's desperately trying to be a lawyer and failing at it. If you don't know this by now after my last video, I do not like Kim Kardashian. I don't like her. I don't respect her. Yeah, she's still attractive and everything, but I no longer is part of those type of people who is obsessed with her and stuff. At first I was when she first came out, like a little bit, because I heard about how she got famous. And I was like, ooh, and everything. So let me watch this reality show so I can see her more. It was the same thing with Paris Hilton. It was the same thing with Pamela Anderson. And just like with those other two, I'm no longer a fan of those and I no longer respect them. Because it's like all three women really don't have no talent. Well, Pamela has a little bit, but like her acting's not that great. But for the most part, all three women are very skilled at modeling and everything, so I can give them credit for that. But I don't like Kim Kardashian. I'm sorry. I don't. Get over it. And I'm very offended by this, where she says that women need to get off their effing asses and go to work and get a job and this and that. First things first, Kim Kardashian has no idea what it's like to have a real job. I know what you're saying. Yes, she does. She's a model. She's a reality star. She has skims. And first things first, the modeling thing, okay, fine. That's, to my opinion, is her only real true job. You know what I'm saying? Because that actually takes skill to actually do. It's hard to take a picture. Either you know how or you don't. And so, as for the reality show and the skims and this and that, that all came from her sex tape. All right. That all came from the exploitations of her mother. All right. Let's just get those facts straight. Kim Kardashian will never know what it's like to be a normal person. She has stated that when she said that she doesn't know how much milk costs in the store because she doesn't go shopping. She is not a normal person. She is rich, plain and simple as that. And she will never know truly what it is like to struggle when trying to find a job back in the day. She knows now because she can't pass her bar exam and be a lawyer, and the stinking little heifer is over here crying on her reality show wanting sympathy. She now knows what it is like to struggle to finally get her behind up and get a real job. But she did not know that in the past. So let me take you back in time to a simpler time of how Kim Kardashian actually became rich and famous and how she's never truly had a real job. First things first, she was just a normal little girl who had a rich daddy and a mom who desperately wanted to be famous. Daddy died, and then she got a stepfather who's now her stepmother, and he was equally rich, but not as rich as the one before. Then when she started to grow up, her mom was friends with Paris Hilton's mom. Paris Hilton's family is extremely rich. They own a bunch of hotels and this and that. What's her name? Paris Hilton became famous by making a sex tape. She got a reality show after that. She did a couple of movies and this and that. But she has no talent. And so we used to see Kim hang around Paris Hilton in the background and her little girl group and everything. So it will be Paris front and center, and it will be Kim just lagging behind. And many people who are paparazzi, they wondered, who the heck is this fine woman hanging out with Paris Hilton? Because they've never seen her before. She was very unique looking. This is back when her body was normal looking and stuff. Before she started having all these surgical procedures and fillers and injections and all this other stuff. Also, because of her skin tone, it made her stand out more because she's Armenian, and a lot of people have never seen or even heard of an Armenian. So Kim started to get the attention that she wanted. And so, just like with Paris Hilton, she decided to make a sex tape with a celebrity and everything. And just like Paris Hilton, nobody remembers the male celebrity name that they had sex with in the video. They just remember the woman. And that's how her empire started, from a sex tape. And so, of course, it somehow got leaked to the media and everything. Gee, I wonder how. It was either her, it was either Ray J, or it was Kim's mom. And so this is all people could talk about. Who is this woman with the big butt and who looks great and who's taking it from behind and everything like that. So in comes Ryan Seacrest and E! Channel, and they gave them their own reality show. A family most people never heard of, who just happens to be gorgeous and everything. So her mom, who's a wannabe celebrity, exploited the crap out of her kids, made them all super famous by putting them in this and putting them in that, modeling and trying to find like TV shows they could guest star in and movies they could be crammed in, and that's how they made their even bigger fortune and stuff. And Kim, just like with Paris and everything, she did reality shows. She would guest star on television shows. She would be in movies. I forget the movie, but it was a spoof parody movie, like Epic Movie or something like that, and she was in that. The only problem is not one member of their family, especially Kim Kardashian, can act. It was atrocious, and people made fun of her acting ability. So she kind of stopped acting for a while and just started doing the reality show thing and the modeling thing. And yes, she's a very good model. But of course, Kim just can't be a normal model. She has to be a controversial one. And so she started posing in certain like outfits and duplicating certain famous poses and magazine covers that made controversy. Then she only dates like rich famous dudes, and Kanye West was probably the richest one of them all. She suffered all through that marriage and all through that man's craziness till she finally left him. She did create her Skims thing, but whatever. How much of that was truly her coming up with it, we will never know, people. Because most people who create things, it's not really them who create things. It's just like a team of people who create things. You do have some creative people who will create something, then they make an empire off that. They have their own company, and then they have other people make it. But we will never truly know if she truly really made this or not, because the woman has proven to be talentless and everything. Then all of a sudden, she started wanting people released from prison who was on like death row and stuff like that. And at some point in time, it clicked in her head, hey, I want to be a lawyer. So we've followed her, like we as in people around the world, follow her story of a 6 year like journey of her trying to be a lawyer, which she still has not become. She can't pass her test. And she's, of course, exploiting the crap out of this on her reality show, and that is social media. She let everybody know she used chatgpt, or whatever that thing is called. She used AI to study for her test, and she failed. She called up a bunch of psychics, and they all like, yeah, you're going to pass your test, and she failed. She called 4 psychics. If you have to call 4 psychics, you're not studying for that test, and you're not taking this seriously. If you have to use AI to study, you're not taking this seriously. I've already talked about how she don't know how much the price of milk costs, and she doesn't even believe Americans flew and went to the moon. If she doesn't even believe that, then why does she even want to be a lawyer? Like, seriously, like, why, and everything. Is it because people make fun of her and say she has no talent or say she's dumb and everything? And it's kind of like when she proves people right that she has no talent and that she is dumb, why does she still want to be a lawyer? I still speculate it's because she saw her father be a lawyer and she was inspired by that. But inspired 40 something years later or 30 something years later. And it's kind of like, why didn't she try to be a lawyer back in the day? If she truly wanted to take this lawyer thing serious, and I forgot how old she is, but she's somewhere in either her late 30s or early 40s or something like that. Why didn't she pursue this many years ago? Why? Because she was too busy dressing half naked and exploiting her body around to make money and stuff. And so it's like, I don't think she truly, honestly wants to be a lawyer. I just think she wants to add it to her resume just because her dad was one. And she wants to be like, hey, look, my dad was one. Now I'm one and everything. Either that or there's some people who are locked up in prison who she feel like should not be in prison. And she wants to really help them out. And or it's just she wants to show people she's not dumb and she has a real job. And to make matters worse, she's now playing a fake lawyer on television, and her show is abysmal from what everybody says, and it has like a low rating. And so it's like, if she can't be a lawyer in real life, she's gonna play a fictional one on television, which that's just embarrassing, just all around. But this woman has no idea what it's like to really truly get a job. She really truly does not know what it's like to struggle. Everything has been handed to her on a silver platter because of that big butt, that sex tape, and her mom and her dad's wealth and everything. She will never know what it's like to fill out hundreds and hundreds of applications only to get rejected by so many. She will never know what it's like to work in a grocery store because she don't even know how much milk costs. She will never know what it's like to work in a fast food, having to buff tables, clean the floors, take out the garbage and everything. She will never know what it's like to do a handyman's type job because I doubt she knows how to do that. She will never know what it's like to put together, like, say, a movie or a television show, to write a draft and this and that, because it was her stinking mom who pretty much wanted her to have this lawyer show. She will never truly know what it is like to work 18 hours a day on your feet, having them swole, only to come home to be all like, I don't feel like cooking. Let me pop something in the microwave or order out, and then just pass out on the couch because you can't make it to the bedroom. She will never ever know what that is like. And for her to say women need to get off their butts and get a job is laughable in my opinion, especially with her huge fake butt that took her years to admit that it is actually fake. I have no respect for this woman. I cannot stand this woman, and I wish she would just go away. Like, she has no business being famous, and she has no business taking up our mind space and everything. Just go away. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.